Hare Krishna. Welcome to our channel. Bhagavad-gita, here it is, because we have it. Bhagavad-gita as it is. Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And my name is Labanga Latika. And today we will read text 11 from chapter 12, which is all about devotional service.
Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalang.
Yes, so Krishna here is giving us a bit of a, how to say, he's not stepping up, he's stepping down. He's saying perfection is when the soul is purely attached in love to God. Then everything else follows naturally. And if we don't have that, then we don't need to feel bad or anything, because we're in this world, we're starting where we're starting, and then we can start to practice devotional service, sadhana bhakti. And then Krishna even says, if you're unable to fully commit to that, then work for him, offer some of your work. And today we're reading text 11, which is the next verse. Let's hear what Krishna has to say. Adhetad apyashaktosi kartung madhyogam ashritaha sarva karma bhala tyagang tata kuru yatatmavan. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all results of your work, and try to be self-satisfied. No, that's not what it said. Try to be self-situated, rather. Purport. It may be that one is unable even to sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social, familial, or religious consideration, or because of some other impediments. If one attaches himself directly to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be objections from family members, or so many other difficulties. For one who has such a problem, it is advised that he sacrifices the accumulated result of his activities to some good cause. Such procedures are described in the Vedic rules. There are many descriptions of sacrifices and special functions for the full moon day, and there is special work in which the result of one's previous action may be applied. Thus one may gradually become elevated to the state of knowledge. It is also found that when one who is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness gives charity to some hospital or some other social institution, he gives up the hard-earned results of his activities. That is also recommended here, because by the practice of giving up the fruits of one's activities, one is sure to purify his mind gradually, and in that purified stage of mind one becomes able to understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience, because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. But if there are impediments to accepting Krishna consciousness, one may try to give up the results of his actions. In that respect, social service, community service, national service, sacrifice for one's country, etc., may be accepted so that someday one may come to the stage of pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad-gita 18:46 we find it stated, Yatha pravrittir bhutanam. If one decides to sacrifice for the Supreme Cause, even if he does not know that the Supreme Cause is Krishna, he will come gradually to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Cause by the sacrificial method. Yes. So it's quite interesting to see, because these are not like we heard before of the different yoga methods, karma yoga, jnana yoga, and dhyana yoga. This list is a little bit different. This is more to do with how to direct one's consciousness, one's activities, one's mind, one's direction in life even. So what Krishna is advising is that anything that is not pure devotional service will not free us from this world. But here in a sense, he's saying the approach can also be gradual. So by practicing to give up the result of our work. That's also said earlier to Arjuna, that Krishna says, Arjuna, you have the right to perform your duties, but you do not have the right to enjoy the result. So if one is able to develop that sort of detachment, being able to see that I'm doing things in this world, it doesn't mean that I own them. It doesn't mean I have to enjoy them. I may not be able to direct myself to direct devotional service, to go in that direction immediately, but there are so many steps that may be the step before coming to self-realization. So this is one of them, practicing detachment, giving to someone else instead of oneself. So Krishna says, in this way, you become less attached to the things, and you practice being peaceful and self-satisfied. So it's good in a way. It is not the recommended method. I will read the next text as well. Text 12. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasaj jnanad dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma pala tyagas chantir anantaram. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, and better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, for by such renunciation one can attain peace of mind. Purport. As mentioned in the previous verses, there are two kinds of devotional service: the way of regulative principles and the way of full attachment in love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge, because by knowledge one can be able to understand his real position. Yes, because as persons we are different. Some people find it quite natural to practice religion in a, in a simple way. There is God, and He loves us, and that's why I will go to my church or temple or mosque and do the things, sing the songs or say the prayers or hear the words or do the rituals, and I'm quite satisfied with that, because I know it's the right thing and I know I connect to God that way. And some people are completely different. They are complicated. Their brain is complicated. They need to understand and figure things out. So they can practice more in a jnana direction. Meditation is another path. And some people who are, I think you need to be a little bit already purified to be able to sit down, focus your mind, focus on your breathing, and kind of, develop some satisfaction from that level. So all these processes are there in the Vedas, in the Bhagavad-gita also. And then Krishna says, better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action, because that is one step actually. It's actually a step forward to give up whatever we identify and believe is ours and stay peaceful. Gradual knowledge will develop to the point of meditation. By meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a gradual process. There are processes which make one understand that one himself is the Supreme, and that sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in devotional service. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties, as enjoined in the Vedic scriptures. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties as enjoined in the Vedic literatures for the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, which we shall find in the last chapter of Bhagavad-gita. But in all cases, one should give up the results or fruits of labor. This means to employ the result of karma for some good cause. This is quite interesting because it's like, the steps. This is the most perfect. This is, if you can't do that, do this. If you can't do that, do this. But this is quite, a deep understanding of the mentality of people, what we are able to do, what we are not able to do, and how to connect that back to our actual spiritual development, even if we don't see it. It's just like if you have a child, and maybe you hope that your child will be a doctor or a professor or something. So you don't start by giving them textbooks in mathematics and physics. You start by, watching them how they learn to crawl and walk and form some sentences, because that is the basis for everything. But if your child is already a little bit grown up, then they can start school. And if they're even bigger than that, they can go to university. I'm not saying the parents should have goals for their children, but it's just as an example, because these levels, they don't seem directly connected to developing Krishna consciousness. At the same time, they actually work. So when we look at the Vedic structure, because sometimes religions that we have around the corner, they are a little bit more, they are one thing only. You do this one thing. That is religion. And that is right. And that is what takes you to God. Whereas the Vedic structure is very, there are different paths. And in these paths, there are also different levels. Because the realistic understanding is there that there are a lot of people in this world. And there are a lot of differences between these people. So everybody should be able to connect, to start the path towards spiritual realization. And in order to do that, we have to do all the other things. We have to live. We have to have a society. We have to cooperate. So these different steps, the direct steps, and the step of giving up the result of your activities, is quite advanced. People, they do not want to do that. This is mine, and I want this because it's mine. To be able to give that up is a big step. And you can never, like we have monks, and then we hear about other traditions where you have priests living in celibacy, and as soon as there is a problem or some irregularities, then people are very quick to say, oh, it's because they live in celibacy, this is not natural. Celibacy, at a certain level, is very helpful for your spiritual life, but to artificially force yourself to be celibate when you don't have that level can create quite a disturbance. So therefore, we work with all these levels. And Krishna does that. He brings that into all these verses as well. Okay. In summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal, there are two processes. One process is by gradual development, and the other process is direct. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the direct methods, and the other method involves renouncing the fruits of one's activities. Then one can come to the stage of knowledge, then to the stage of meditation, then to the stage of understanding the Supersoul, and then to the stage of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One may take either the step-by-step process or the direct path. The direct process is not possible for everyone, therefore the indirect process is also good. It is, however, to be understood that the indirect process is not recommended for Arjuna, because he is already at the stage of loving devotional service to Supreme Lord. It is for others who are not at this stage. For them, the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, meditation, and realization of the Supersoul and Brahman should be followed. But as far as Bhagavad-gita is concerned, it is the direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take to the direct method and surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes. So Krishna gives Arjuna, and thereby Krishna also gives us a complete picture, so we can understand how things are connected, how things work. Because Krishna could easily have said, Arjuna, I am God, you are my servant, do this thing now. He does that in a way. He says, this is the best thing, this is what I advise you to do. But he gives Arjuna how to say, a complete basis for understanding what to be done and what not to do. And then he says, we will come to that later, I have given you all this knowledge, you think about it, and then you decide yourself what you think is best. But as far as Krishna is concerned, the best thing is devotional service, because Krishna knows us. Krishna knows who we are, what we are, and what it actually takes to find satisfaction from the level of the heart. But Krishna knows us in the other way too. He knows exactly where we are in this world, how far we are entangled, how far we are illusioned, and he gives us options. But as we now are the, how to say, as we have been going through Bhagavad-gita up to the 12th chapter and followed Krishna's information and philosophy and background, I think we can quite easily appreciate that Krishna is giving us the option to directly take to devotional service, not to invest in a process that will take several lifetimes. Because who knows what happens from lifetime to lifetime? It is very difficult. You cannot bring your notebook. Now I did this, this life I will do this, next lifetime I will take to the bhakti. It is very difficult to bring your memories with you from one life to the other. So let's do it in this life, but also let's understand that Krishna is very broad-minded, and therefore he gives us everything, so we can have a broad picture of the reality as well. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for watching. We aim for updates every Tuesday and Friday. Please come back. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there. We also have some links and information for you. And there is, of course, the subscribe button. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
I'm a Hare Krishna, and I approve this message. Subscribe.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.